Good morning to you all. I go by the name of Buhle Hlachmayo, and we're here this morning at the Saice Johannesburg branch headquarters, and we'll be attending the Kickstart Your Career seminar. I think we should go check out and see what they have in store for us.
I did a leadership course when I was still studying, and years later I realized that wasn't for that course, I wouldn't have been Saice president. So it's just one of those things that give you a foot up in your career, in your life.
Now when Shaka was born, the Zulu people were only about 3,000 people. Did you know that? They were mainly cattle farmers. That was their thing. They were cattle farmers. Only 3,000. So how did it happen that about 35 years later, the whole of what we now call, well, was then Natal, was under one tribe's name, Zulu, KwaZulu. How did that happen? How did he go from 50 volunteer soldiers to 80,000?
We're joined here by the CEO of Free to Live and psychologist Mark Lacey-Smith. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Great pleasure. Great pleasure.
All right, so to start off, I know you were talking about the leadership principles from King Shaka, and one of them entails the Izigwe Code.
Yes.
Could you please tell us more about the code?
Absolutely. The Izigwe Code was designed and developed by Dr. Nicholas Abel and Herman Skumbi. And it's a principle about the leadership principles around Shaka Zulu, how he went from being the illegitimate son of King Sezangakona and eventually became the leader of the greatest army in Africa. And that is the story. It has 7 different phases. Those different phases talk about attitude, looking at what you have available, changing what you have available, having the power of being a leader, then breaking the fear of the people had, then looking at your enemies and finding out what it is that your enemies are doing, so you match them, and then eventually Shaka used to share the spoils across this huge amount of people called, all under one name, KwaZulu, 80,000 warriors.
Right here, I'm joined by Nomsa Magazi, who is the engineering manager at Transnet and MOM. Thank you so much for joining me, Nomsa.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, for today's talk, you focused on the challenges that women face in the civil engineering industry. What are those challenges in detail?
In detail, you have a challenge as a woman trying to make your mark in a very male-dominated industry. And the other one from your other females, true representation of what female engineers or what engineering means to a female person. And being a mom, of course. Those are the challenges, yes.
And how can we overcome those challenges as women within that industry?
There's one thing that I always would refer to, and that would be working in a pack or working in a unit. Animals have mastered that. There's no animal that goes, especially lions. Lionesses are the ones that hunt. And when they hunt in a formation as a pack. You are not one. You can never be a loner. You'll never survive. So we need each other as females in the industry to work together and to try and uplift and draw so many females to the discipline. And that should be number one. The other one, talk. You need a forum where you can voice your concerns and your challenges and your frustrations, of course, and how to try and overcome them through a forum where women are heard and they're understood and they are listened to.
I'm joined here by Fana Marutla, who's the Saice chairman of Railway and Harbour Division. Fana, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.
All right, let me start off by asking you, you've mentioned something about success, and you also mentioned that there are different kinds of definitions of success.
Yes.
So I would like to find out from you, what does success mean to you, and what's it supposed to mean?
Okay, I think success for me is living a balanced life. I actually define success on the basis of the balance between one's career, obviously, but also the family part of a person. In other words, if you've got a family, the career, the family, and also the spiritual life of a person. So if you're able to balance those three in such a way that none is actually left behind necessarily, but I think in terms of the hierarchy, the family always comes first, of course. So it's important to always have your priorities right. But the careers is not so much about just the material part only. It's more about having a balance, because a lot of people think about success as being the monetary part of it. In other words, having more money, having luxury stuff, but it's not only about that. It's about having a balanced life, right? Family, career, and your spiritual life, and of course, also your health. If one can also add that, it's important that you take care of your health. Those things, those four, if I can put it that way, are very important in one's life.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Kickstart Your Career event, which took place here at the Johannesburg branch of Saice in Midrand. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next event, I'm Buhle Hlatshwayo, signing out.